It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Tuesday, the 6th of August. I'm Michael Groff. We'll start out with a shout out to David Parnell. Yes, one of our loyal viewers. It's his birthday today, 27 years young. Happy birthday, sir. And thank you so much for the donation via the thanks icon below the video, the super thanks here on YouTube. You can always make those contributions to us as well, support the channel. Clayton did the same thing yesterday, so thank you guys so much. And if you want to support via PayPal, groffshow@gmail.com is the PayPal address, groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. All right, a lot going on, a very active day expected this afternoon and tonight. Showers, thunderstorms, some could become severe, gusty, damaging straight line winds, blowing dust, a threat. There's a lot of questions that you guys have, some misinformation that's floating out there, of course. And we will sort through all of it, answer all of your questions as we dive on in. First, the almanac from yesterday, 112 degrees the afternoon high, 92 the morning low, 106 and 84 the averages. A trace of rain officially in the bucket yesterday. Outside now, just after 12 noon, 102 degrees at Sky Harbor, although I just saw it ticked up to 106. Dew point 61, humidity 26%, wind west to 12, gust to 16, barometer falling. Upper level weather pattern across the nation right now. Still have Debbie churning out there just off the Georgia coast or right along the coast of Georgia. Very heavy rain for the Carolinas, especially the eastern Carolinas, the shoreline there, really just getting pounded by wind, rain, and that's going to continue to be the case for the next couple of days, and eventually it's going to get picked up by the westerlies and move off to the north, but just a nightmare. And of course, there's also some embedded tornadoes that are ongoing there as well. We have a tornado watch for parts of eastern South Carolina, southeastern North Carolina as well. Now, for us here in the southwest, we've got an inverted trough across northwest Mexico. That's moving our direction. We'll be on the northern periphery of that, and that's going to help to touch off showers and storms today. All right, the watch warning map. Again, all those watches and warnings, the tropical storm warnings, we got flood advisories, flood warnings. We've got a tornado watch. We've had a couple of tornado warnings with those bands that continue to move in off the Atlantic. And, of course, flood watches extend up into parts of the Northeast as this system will eventually kick up that way. For us in the Southwest, well, heat, the story from Southern California up to the Mojave Desert and into parts of the Pacific Northwest and the Intermountain West. But for Phoenix, we've got a blowing dust advisory. That's in effect from 5 p.m. through 8 p.m. this evening. And as showers and thunderstorms get fired up and they get into the south central deserts, those outflow boundaries should kick up plenty of dust across much of the southern deserts. And that will continue probably into the late night hours into the southwest deserts of Arizona, perhaps even into southeast California, depending on how all of this plays out. Convective outlook for today. Obviously, with Debbie, we've got the risk of some severe storms and some isolated tornadoes, as well as over parts of the Northeast. And Montana, the standard slight risk up there for much of that area in the adjacent states. And here in Arizona, that level 2 out of 5, standard slight risk of severe storms. And the main threat from any severe storms, obviously the two things that make a storm severe, the two categories that are required, one of the two has to be present, either winds 58 miles per hour in speed by gust or sustained wind, or hail reaching the ground that's an inch in diameter or greater. And for us, it's going to be those strong, damaging straight-line winds. They could gust as high as 70 miles per hour, the strongest storms. And that's obviously a big concern. And this is the wind outlook and the probability of severe winds, of winds that could gust to 58 miles per hour or greater. We're in that 15 to 29% bracket here in the Phoenix area. That includes Tucson, Gila Bend, Nogales, Ajo, our friend Ryan Seek down there in Maricopa. Yes, you guys are all in that 15 to 29% bracket, and based on probabilities, there's around an 80% chance of winds of at least 35 miles per hour. So obviously, we have the potential and the likelihood of some gusty winds and blowing dust, severe thunderstorms and severe winds possible as well. Okay. Let's look at this because I know people are asking about it, okay? Mike, I saw these guys. We know who they are, right? These guys that are posting about a threat of tornadoes. This is the tornado outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Okay. No chance. All right. Now, does that mean that there couldn't possibly be a tornado? Obviously, any thunderstorm, even thunderstorms that aren't necessarily supercells, lines of storms can sometimes kick up these brief spin-up tornadoes, these land spouts, these little gustnados. Sometimes that happens, okay? That can happen. But the probability of a tornado is no greater today. Realistically speaking, it's really not significantly greater than it is on any other monsoon day. Conditions just aren't favorable for that. We're going to outline why that is in a moment, but that doesn't stop guys like, and I hate to even mention them. I hate to even give them pub, but my email, I've had like 4 or 5 people email me, and then we had people commenting in the comment section of yesterday's video about this. These clowns over at the Arizona Weather Force, they issue their own watches and warnings and advisories, and they, this is just, it's insane. We've called these guys out before, and they have issued a tornado watch. And I want to mention, this is garbage, okay? There is no official tornado watch for Arizona. That is issued by the National Weather Service. That's issued these watches, the Storm Prediction Center, Norman, Oklahoma. No, there has been no official tornado watch issued, but these guys, these Arizona Weather Force guys issued that. And they use these this fear-mongering language, this clickbait language. They only care about engagement. This is a very dangerous situation. And you look at the text of this, and that's just what it is. It's just nonsense. They talk about the potential of large hail and flooding and winds of 60 to 100 miles per hour and tornadoes. And they say, well, they don't know how to forecast. They only know how to forecast for Tornado Alley, not for Arizona. This is nonsense. Okay. And I'm sorry. It is. I love the guy's title, Master Chief Super Hyper Turbo Mega WTF 360 no scope headset, but our meteorologist. I mean, I love these guys that give themselves these titles, and they're so arrogant. There's 2 types of meteorologists, folks. There's the type that is humble, and then there's the type that's about to be. And I don't even think these guys are actual meteorologists. If they have a degree, I am scared. I don't know how they got it. And if I'm pretty sure they don't, just based on reading the analysis here. And we're going to go through why. And again, this isn't to bolster myself or the National Weather Service or anything. We're going to give you the objective reasons why the tornado risk is not anything like they're making it out to be here. Okay, we're going to go through this. But I had to address this because so many of you asked me about it. So I wanted to go through and get into it. All right. The tropics. Yeah, Debbie is still on the board as a tropical storm, albeit barely, but this is not going anywhere, folks. We're going to be dealing with this system for a while in one form or another. It's just going to kind of loop-de-loop around here and come back onto the coast of South Carolina. And then eventually, by about Thursday, sometime Thursday into Friday, it'll be picked up in the westerlies and move up to the northeast. And it'll be off the coast of Maine by this weekend. But man, is it going to dump a bunch of rain. Speaking of dumping a bunch of rain, boy, we'd love to see, maybe not 15 inches of rain, but we'd love to see a couple inches. This is the forecast from the WPC. Rain amounts in Phoenix, generally under 1/10 of an inch. But again, when we show you this graphic, your amount will vary. I guarantee you somebody in here across southern Arizona will pick up a half inch, an inch, 2 inches of rain. I mean, it's an inevitability with these storms. We've seen it from every storm over the last several days. There's some spot, someplace that hits the rain lottery and gets 2 inches of rain. But on a broad basis, on an average basis, this is what you can expect to see across the state. The higher terrain will be favored for the heaviest precipitation. I love in that Weather Force post that they say, this will happen. That was my favorite. This will happen. Anybody that tells you in weather that this will happen, if it's not happening already, no, don't go with that. All right, let's get into the models, see what the future may hold. we'll try and analyze this situation in more detail. Here we go to the models, the GFS, the 12Z run. This is valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, there's Debbie off the right along the southeastern coast of the United States, right there along the Georgia, South Carolina coast. And high pressure sits off to the east and northeast of us. And that inverted trough comes into southern Arizona. What it means for us down at the surface for the rest of the day today. Partly cloudy, scattered showers and thunderstorms developing over the higher terrain of northern and eastern Arizona, the southeastern part of the state. Really will probably be another day where we have like two main clusters of storms, okay? Ones that form up along the rim and across northern Arizona, and another batch that forms across the southeastern part of the state along the northern periphery of the inverted trough. In theory, these two will produce colliding outflow boundaries across the south central or southwest Arizona deserts. Will that actually happen? Remains to be seen. Let's try and figure this out. First of all, high temperatures this afternoon still will be very toasty, probably somewhere between about 107 to 112. All right, let's get into it with our high resolution guidance. This will start with the HRRR. This is the composite reflectivity product, the simulated radar. This is 6 p.m. today. And it's got a batch of showers and thunderstorms just kind of traversing the Northwest Valley, another batch coming in from the Northeast. And then an area of storms across Pima County, maybe moving towards Southwest Maricopa County. And that's at 6 p.m. By 8 p.m., it's got the storms kind of falling apart, this batch from the Northeast as it comes on in, and maybe the east and central part of the valley gets some storms, and the West Valley might just get some wind, if this is right. But I have to stress to you when we show you these high-resolution models, these are not gospel. These models do struggle, especially in patterns like this. So there is no guarantee that this is going to be how it plays out. This is just one solution, but I'm going to show you a bunch of solutions, okay? Just so you have the information, because I certainly don't believe in pounding my own chest and saying, I am the authority here. I'm right. Everybody else is wrong, like certain people do. This is the 3-kilometer NAM. Again, simulated radar product, 6 p.m. Boy, it hardly has anything. It has a few storms up across Yavapai and maybe moving into northwest Maricopa. It's got some storms down there to the south, down by Tucson and across Pima and Santa Cruz counties, but the south central deserts are relatively devoid of action. That is until some storms come in from the southeast by about 9 or 10 p.m. This is 10 p.m. tonight. It's got a batch of storms coming through the valley. And if the NAM is correct, it'll be more of a late evening into the midnight, the 10 p.m. to midnight hour before we get anything. And these storms, the 3-kilometer NAM actually is the most promising for strong to severe storms and the potential of some rain. All right, now we'll go to the old WRF, the WRF. And some people call it the WRF-less. But anyway, this is the simulated radar product. Again, this is 8 p.m. tonight. And it's got a batch of storms, one that's kind of descending out of Yavapai into La Paz and Mojave counties, and another one that's kind of traversing the southern part of the valley, northwest Pinal, and kind of moving across South Mountain, the Estrellas, and kind of affecting the southern and western part of the valley. Maybe giving us some wind, but a good portion of the valley wouldn't get anything out of this model. Truth is, who knows, right? I mean, this is one of those situations where there's so many different solutions, it's hard to say. Now, let's look at a forecast sounding. Again, to some of you, this looks like gobbledygook, right? This is Greek. This is Klingon. But this is, again, the 3-kilometer NAM. And this is at 5 p.m. this evening. And what we're looking at here, let's look at some of the factors. First of all, let's talk about the tornado issue, okay? Because that's what that post is all about. The reason that we don't really have a real tornado threat here, one of the main reasons we don't get tornadoes very often in Arizona is because the cloud bases are too high. You need that LCL level down at about the 850 millibar level. You need those cloud bases down about 850 millibars, or about 5,000 feet off the ground. With this, that is not it. I mean, those are up at the 700 millibar level. So cloud base is too high. Also, one of the main things that we look at right away for tornadic thunderstorms is the helicity. That's the veering of the wind with altitude. All right. Winds that rotate as you go up through the atmosphere, and especially in the 0 to 1 kilometer range, the lowest part of the atmosphere. All right. That 850 millibar level and on down. And there's virtually none. The EHI, the Energy Helicity Index, is under 1 unit. And I know, I know I'm speaking gibberish to some of you, but all of that means when you see these values, it's so low, the potential of a tornado is virtually non-existent. Does that mean it's impossible? No, this is weather. It's not impossible for it to happen, but the risk is extremely low. Now, what risks are there? Okay, we've talked about, the tornado threat, yeah, that's off the table. Okay, forget that. But, decape values are extremely high, depending on the sounding. This sounding, the decape values, that's down shear cape, the downstream cape, the downdraft, 2,400 joules per kilogram. That's insane amounts of decape. You've got the inverted V sounding, the drier air in the lower levels of the atmosphere, which means as rain-cooled air descends and hits this lower level of the atmosphere, this very hot, relatively dry lower level of the atmosphere, it will cool it rapidly. That rapid cooling causes very strong winds to fan out from those thunderstorms. That's what creates those outflows, okay? And those strong outflows could perpetuate new thunderstorms, in addition to kicking up blowing dust and all of that. So that is a big concern with storms today. When you see decape values that high, anytime they're over 1,000 joules per kilogram, it's a concern for strong damaging winds. I don't know the last time I've seen decape values up close to 2,500 joules per kilogram. Surface-based cape is, again, 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram. So that's sufficient for thunderstorms to develop. The mixing ratios and the precipitable water values are certainly within our normal monsoon range. So this sounding would suggest to me at least the potential of some severe storms. And you see the possible hazard type on the right there, marginal severe. Yes, this is not a tornado sounding. This isn't even really a loaded gun sounding. This is not a classic severe weather setup, but there is the potential for some severe storms with a sounding like this. How it plays out is still remains to be seen, but we do expect showers, thunderstorms, and a few severe storms to be a possibility. So we've got the rain chances up in about the 40% bracket for today and tonight. Otherwise, tonight we'll see lows upper 70s to upper 80s, and then tomorrow the inverted trough is still around. Some instability should still exist. Depending on how many storms we have tonight, we'll still see some scattered showers and storms tomorrow. Don't expect a severe threat, but a few strong storms could occur. The main focus would probably shift a little further to the north of us, but we'll see. We'll keep that chance of rain in the forecast, and high temperatures tomorrow will be lower. That's good news because of the anticipated clouds and precipitation tonight, the rain-cooled air, and with the heights down a bit tomorrow, highs probably around 101 to 105, which, given where we have been, will probably feel like an Arctic chill. All right, as we go to Thursday, still a chance at some showers and storms, decreasing a bit, though. Drier air is going to eventually start to work in here, although the GFS is a mite bit more bullish on Thursday. So we'll keep the chance going for storms and highs again, probably around 101 to 105, maybe adding on a degree. We'll see. Friday, the drier air starts to work in, only isolated afternoon and evening showers and storms around. Highs will start to warm up a couple of degrees here, and for the weekend, just a slight chance of a late afternoon or evening shower or storm for both Saturday and Sunday. Highs anywhere from about 108 to 113. Monday, temps might come down just ever so slightly. Highs back maybe just under 110, about 105 to 109, but I've seen some varying solutions on this, so we've kind of broad brushed the forecast to keep temps on the hot side here. But a small increase in the number of showers and storms possible. Now, as we go into next week, there's forecast uncertainty here too. This is Tuesday, the 13th, and This shows the ridge kind of off to the east and southeast of us, setting up maybe more over New Mexico and Texas. And the flow aloft is more south or southwesterly, and we've got troughing coming into the Pacific Northwest, and that's not a very good monsoon setup for us. That would tend to be drier, but temperatures may back off a couple of degrees, still staying at or just a little bit above normal, but not in the excessive heat range. And then going out 10 days, this is Thursday, the 15th. Troughing sits to the west of us, and not nearly as deep a trough as what we were looking at on the OZ and 06Z run this morning, but still that would favor more of a southwesterly flow, and that would be kind of dry for us. And I don't want to see that, because now we're getting into mid-August, and there's not really any good prospect for monsoon moisture, at least not for us in south central Arizona, although the moisture wouldn't be that far away. We'd see at least some widely scattered storms over the eastern mountains in the southeastern part of the state. But I'm going to caution you on this and say there have been a number of different solutions as to how next week plays out. So we'll see if it really dries out this dramatically. This would lead, again, to slightly lower temperatures as the upper heights come down, but not obviously probably back closer to seasonal averages. Nothing dramatic. Looking at rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS ensemble. This goes out through the 20th of August. The ensemble mean is between 1/2 and 2/3 of an inch. European ensemble back up to its old ways here, about, under 1/4 of an inch, about 2/10 of an inch for the ensemble mean over the next 2 weeks. Temperatures off the national blend of models. Hey, it's got 104 tomorrow. And break out the jackets and the gloves. My goodness. We're getting pretty close to boot weather. And then after that, temperatures do warm back up. Yeah, just gross. Just staying at or above normal for the most part. Maybe, again, a sign of slightly lower temperatures later next week, but nothing to write home about. By the way, 104, that would actually be 1 degree below normal if that materialized tomorrow. I don't know. I'd have to go look to see when the last time we were below normal. It's probably early June. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. May have an update if absolutely necessary, and if I can manage that between now and then, we'll see. And if you enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really like what we do here, as mentioned at the beginning, click the thanks icon below the video like David and Clayton did, or you can donate to PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address, groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of, there it is, sweetchildaz.com.org, and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out her videos and everything Michelle related in the description below. And our streaming station, available 24/7, 365. It is called KMGX. We play a ton of music, have a lot of fun with that. So do give that a listen also. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. So greatly appreciated. Please be safe out there. And while this is not a very dangerous situation today, as some would have you to believe, I do want you guys to be safe, and I do want you to have a reliable source of weather information, whether that is a weather radio or a smartphone with those alerts on. Make sure you get a reliable source of weather information and a trusted source. I would recommend the National Weather Service. I'd recommend NOAA. I'd recommend, that stuff. Not these fly-by-nighters. And I'm not even saying me, okay? If you don't, I'm telling you right now, if you don't like my model discussion, or if you think, you want to double check what I tell you, by all means, please do. We do model discussion here. The forecast I provide to you at the end of these videos is a feature that you guys have requested, so I include that, but it's pretty much in line with the National Weather Service official forecast. Sometimes there's slight tweaks because the forecast I write is for a broader area than they cover, but basically I just provide a forecast, a service because you guys asked for that. So I do want you to still be vigilant. I'm not fear-mongering. I'm not telling you, hey, you're all going to die today. Nothing like that. No, we don't do that here. But I do want you to have those reliable sources of weather information handy and available. As always, not just on a day like today, but always have that ready to go. And if you watch these videos, you guys know that anyway, but just a reminder. All right, thank you so much again for watching. Be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated out there. Have yourselves a beautiful rest of your Tuesday.